other thing.
All right, welcome into Rock Solid Sports on Friday night. I'm your host here, Chloe Levering. I got alongside me a new member of the show, Keithan. How are you doing, Keithan?
I'm doing pretty good. Nice to be here.
All right, yeah, I'm super excited. This is Keithan's first show, like I said, so it's gonna be super fun. We're just gonna have a good time. Over on StreamYard, I got Dylan Becker. Dylan, your cord is not plugged in, so I'll come back to you in just 1 second because I just realized that. Let's see if we got Devin over at tonight's sponsor, The Hill Bar and Grill. Yep, we can hear you loud and clear. How's it looking at The Hill tonight? All right. Yep, you heard it here. That's our Friday night sponsor, Rock Solid Sports. Friday night show sponsored by the Hill Bar and Grill, located in the Fort Sanders area at the corner of 12th Street and Forest Avenue. The Hill Bar and Grill is a bar, restaurant, and caterer with wings, burgers, tacos, and more, with dining indoors or their expanded outdoor patio area with curbside pickup is available. More info at thehillknox.com or on their social media. All right, and I think we should have Dylan Becker now over on StreamYard. Dylan, how's it going?
Are we good now, finally?
We are good.
All right, well, it's going good. Happy Friday, everyone, even though it's a little boring because we have no football here in Tennessee. We'll figure out something to talk about.
True. There's other football games going on, or we can just go ahead and talk about the LSU game that's coming up. We'll see. That's what I have down for tonight, though. Let's get into it. Tennessee bye week, of course, is this week. There's no football game this week. Next week, the Vols will be traveling to LSU, to Baton Rouge, to take on the LSU Tigers. But for this week, there's no Tennessee game. But, of course, there is a lot of other games going on, some really important games. I wanted to go around, if we're looking at it, whether it's an SEC matchup or whatever. What's your game of the week that you just want to start us out with? Devin, you want to start us off? What's a game that you think is going to be looking good this week? A good matchup.
Oh my goodness, Chloe. There's so many
if you had to pick,
matchups.
just start us off. Yeah, if you just had to pick one.
Honestly, this might be a bit of a hot take here, but I'm going to say Alabama and Arkansas, the SEC game of the week on CBS. And it's because I truly believe Arkansas can get the upset. I know that's a bit of a hot take right now, considering the Hogs just lost to A&M. But to me, I think they're going to come in at home with a fire. And Alabama, they've tripped up against a good team on the road. Usually it just happens just once. I feel like it's either going to happen against Arkansas or maybe against us, but I'm feeling good about Arkansas right now still, so that's going to be an awesome, awesome game.
I think so as well. You never know. Like I always say, you never know in the SEC. You just never know how it's going to go. I mean, you can predict, but we'll never know. I'll go next. Okay, hear me out. I'm looking at number 7 Kentucky and number 14 Ole Miss right now, and that is just because I don't know. It's Ole Miss. Obviously, I'm not a fan of Ole Miss, I don't need to explain that one, but it's just I don't know. I think it's a ranked, top 25 matchup, top 15 matchup actually, and I just feel like Ole Miss could honestly pull the upset on this one. I don't know. Kentucky is obviously really good this year. Number 7, had a good schedule and things like that so far. What do you guys think? Devin?
Yeah, I was going to say, that is a fantastic choice, Chloe. I agree with you. I think Ole Miss is going to get the upset, but it's not because I think Ole Miss is really, I think both these teams are very overrated. Like if I had to rank them, I would put them both like still in the top 20, but kind of more around 18, 19, maybe 17. But to me, Ole Miss, they've just been playing a little bit better. The fact that they're at home, the fact that they'll get a sellout crowd for the first time this season, which just goes to show how dedicated those Ole Miss fans really are. This is their only time they've had a sellout so far. Pretty disappointing considering that Tennessee can have a sellout for all kinds of different games, even against Ball State and Akron. As we know, we have some of the best fans in the entire country. But I still think Ole Miss is going to get the upset. Kentucky, they just have not looked very complete on offense. The defense has looked very good at times, but against Northern Illinois, who Vanderbilt beat by 10, only lost to Kentucky by 7 in Kentucky. So not a very impressive showing. I think the Rebels find a way to get a close victory here.
I have to agree with you. I feel like it'll be an interesting test for Kentucky. Obviously, they played Florida earlier in the season, which we still have a lot of questions about Florida as the season is going on right now. Obviously, we kind of don't know what to expect from Anthony Richardson, as he had a good game against us, but he was struggling before. So we don't really know if it was a product of the Tennessee defense or if he's just really starting to bring things back together. But I feel like it would be another good test to see just how good the Kentucky team is. I believe both teams are undefeated right now. And like you said, they'll go into Ole Miss. It's not Northern Illinois. We'll see if that was really if it was more so Northern Illinois having a good game or Kentucky was just playing bad. But I feel like it would be a true test to see how good this Kentucky team is.
That's true. Because Ole Miss isn't bad. Like they're number 14, but I still think that they have the capabilities to be, a top 10 team, maybe a little bit better. While Keithan mentioned Florida, I wanted to just revisit the Florida game super quick. Dylan, were you at College Game Day?
I was, and I don't think I've ever been more exhausted or had more fun at a sporting event ever. The only thing that was better than that was the Capstone Cup raid, just because I'm a little biased towards that. But the only thing that I think Tennessee-wise could top just how fun last Saturday was if we win the SEC or even the national championship. Because if that were to happen, Knox would just be partying for an entire week straight, which you love to see.
Wait, how early did you get up for that?
I was up at 3:30, and again, lots of fun. I think I went to bed around like 9:30 the night before. I woke up, had a cup of coffee, and like a bagel or something. Just knew I'd have to survive off that for the next. I don't want to do the math. But the point is, a lot of fun. I don't want to do it again, because easily the most tired I've ever been.
That seemed like just a great experience. I really wanted to be there, of course, but I couldn't. But yeah, that seemed just like a great experience. I was watching it on TV, of course, getting ready to march out with the band and stuff like that. But also, while we're on Dylan, do you have any college picks? It doesn't have to be like I don't know. I feel like you're one to pick like a what's the word?
Obscure game? An obscure game?
Yeah. Yeah.
Fair enough.
Do you have any obscure games for us today?
It's kind of obscure. The one I'm probably going to be looking at is number 6 USC against Arizona State, just because USC is the only ranked or top 10 ranked Pac-12 school, and also Arizona State just fired their head coach, so that's kind of I don't want to say fun to watch a team in shambles because my brother goes there, so of course I feel bad. But also, it's just a chaotic mess today. I'm having a lot of. It's interesting to read the process of their athletic director trying to find a coach, because when you fire a coach in the middle of a season, that kind of puts your team in a rough predicament that you have to solve as quickly as possible.
So Dylan's game is to see team struggle. I'm just kidding. Dylan's, that's an interesting pick. I wouldn't have picked that one, but I mean, that's still a game I would totally watch. I didn't even think about that. Moving on. LSU. Let's go ahead and preview LSU because you know what, guys? I'm not going to be on the show next Friday night, so I'm not going to get to talk about it. So LSU, Tigers football, Tennessee is taking on them in a week and a day, right? Yeah. So that's obviously not this week, but next week, and it'll be away. So it'll be in Death Valley, which is, I'm sure, some Vols fans' concerns with that game. So right now, as of after that Florida game, guys, I was like pretty confident for LSU, for Tennessee to go in and take on LSU. But then my reality kicked in, as it unfortunately does when you're a Tennessee fan. Usually we don't have reality, but sometimes we do. And I'm looking, it's going to be away. It's going to be that game against Mississippi State last weekend, right? Was 31-16 win. And Mississippi State is nothing great, but it's still, at the end of the day, it's like I said, it's all in the SEC. It's hard. It's hard to predict these wins. So I think personally, if I'm not going to put a score on it yet, but I feel like if I had to, like predict how this game will go, I think it's going to be a lot closer than I feel like Tennessee fans are going to make it be, just because it is away, and just because I don't know. I don't know. I feel like it might be a bit of a challenge. What do you guys think?
I agree with what you're saying. The LSU team is a lot tougher than it may seem to be. They only have one loss on the season, and that was to Florida State, which was only by 1 point, I believe. So, and Florida State, I believe, is undefeated on this season, and they just currently moved into the top 25. So with that being LSU's only loss, with Florida State starting to look better and better as the year goes on, it'll be interesting to see LSU-wise how legit they are as they play us at home. We're coming off a bye week. Obviously the game would be in Death Valley. So I feel like there'll be a lot of hype to LSU to rain on our parade, as we're feeling like, we're big stuff now, that we're top 10 for top 10 in a long time. We may be looking ahead at Alabama. So I don't know. I feel like the game may be a lot trickier than people may expect it to be.
I hope we win, but that like narrative you're giving there, like, it just makes sense. Like, Tennessee undefeated goes in the Death Valley, gets beaten by LSU, who's unranked, right?
Yeah, it'd be very unfortunate as a Tennessee fan. I'm all Vol. I would expect for us. I would love for us to get the win, but at the same time, you just have to handle business. It'd be a lot trickier than people like to expect. LSU might even potentially be a top 25 matchup, because LSU right now, like I said, with Florida State doing better, they're stirring right outside of the top 25 right now, I believe.
That game's at Auburn, right? Yeah. Tomorrow, LSU at Auburn. And I'm going to pick LSU for that one, because looking at how Auburn's doing right now. Devin, any thoughts? If you had to give, week early LSU, Tennessee, what are your thoughts on how that game might go while it's being away and things like that?
Well, it all depends on how this LSU Auburn game goes, because you're right. Auburn has been terrible. Let's just face it. They should have lost to Missouri. They are the luckiest team, other than maybe Alabama, the luckiest team in the entire SEC. They found many ways to lose that game. They had like 99% chance of losing that game multiple times, and still Missouri fumbled it away. So Auburn, not good at all. But, it all depends. It's on the plains there. I think there's a good chance Auburn gets this upset. But again, if that game is really, really close, even if LSU comes away with a victory, then Tennessee fans should feel really good about this matchup. If LSU wins in a blowout, then there's a lot of cause for concern, because then they got a lot of confidence to go on the road to beat a team in a tough environment, and then to host Tennessee, of course. That would just be tough for Tennessee. So we got to hope Auburn at least keeps it close, because again, close victory for LSU. I think Tennessee's chances are pretty good, and the fact that it's at noon, like it's not late at night in Death Valley. Tennessee really lucked out on that scheduling there. So I think Tennessee Vol fans, just pay attention to this weekend's game. We'll see how LSU does, and But right now I'm feeling pretty good about this matchup, actually, way better than I thought at the beginning of the season.
Think about how good the resume for Tennessee will be looking if we end up getting that win on the road against LSU. Because you think about it, on the road at Pitt, which is a ranked opponent, come home in a big rivalry game that we haven't beat Florida in a long time, and then at Death Valley, which, like we said, adds to the season. So far, their resume is looking pretty solid. I feel like that would make Tennessee have a pretty impressive resume going into the Alabama game so far.
I feel like if Tennessee loses this game, it's going to make them look really bad, right? It's going to go, woo, like going down. But then if Tennessee wins this game, like you said, it's going to make them look really good. Like there's really no middle ground on this, I feel like. Dylan, obviously, I've seen you in the student section at many Tennessee football games. Any prediction for the Tennessee LSU game?
Well, I have the ESPN pulled up right now, and unfortunately, Tennessee is favored by round it to 19%. But it's possible to upset them, I guess. I remember at the beginning of the year, I said that at worst, we're probably going to go 9-3 with, unfortunately, this being probably one of the losses. But I like to feel optimistic about this, given how good we've been doing. So fingers crossed things work out for us.
And early score prediction, anyone? Devin, you got a score prediction for us?
Yeah,
I know you do.
Yeah, I mean, LSU's defense is fantastic. So I don't think Tennessee is going to put up as many points against LSU as they did against Florida. I think Tennessee, survives in a close one because I think LSU will make some mistakes, turn the ball over a little bit. So I'm going to go for more of a score like, 31-24.
I'm going with 38-28.
I think I'm going to go a little bit lower. Was that Tennessee?
I'm going with Tennessee 38, LSU 28.
Got it. I'm going to go with 28. I don't know. Maybe like 28-21. Tennessee only wins by a touchdown. I don't know. We'll have to see. Any score prediction, Dylan?
Let's go 24-18.
Tennessee?
I'd like to say
Tennessee
so.
winning?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we actually had a few weekends ago, we had some of the student media from Pitt come on and talk on our show, and we were really all kind of unsure about who was going to win. Obviously, everyone agreed it was pretty much a toss up. And one of those guys over at Pitt said he gave a score prediction. It was pretty close, and then he said Tennessee or Pitt. I don't know. I feel like it could be just as well either way. So I thought that was like an interesting way of doing it. But anyways, wish me some luck. I'm going down to Death Valley next week with the marching band, Pride of the Southland band. And I'm going to see for real which stadium is louder, Neyland or LSU. Have you guys been down there?
Nope.
I've never been to LSU Stadium, but as a lifelong Tennessee fan, I can honestly say that it's hard to imagine anybody being as crazy as Vol fans.
For real. Like I can imagine a louder crowd noise. I don't know.
So last Saturday, I had my watch on measuring how loud things got. And when the game ended, I think it got up to like 117 decibels. So if you have a watch that can measure how loud stuff is, maybe play with that a little bit.
I feel like there's few programs who could have a very loyal fan base, even through rough years as we've been through. I don't know many schools that could say they have a loyal fan base even after putting us through the years that we had.
We deserve it more than anyone. I don't care what anyone says. We deserve it because we've stuck by here through the good, the bad, and the ugly. For me, for people like us who are born around, 2000, we've mainly just seen the ugly. Like that's all we remember.
Yeah,
so.
It's like one of my earliest memories as a Tennessee fan was when, I don't remember what year exactly it was, but it was one of the years we almost beat Alabama and they had blocked our field goal.
Yeah.
And I just remember just the hurt on my dad's face when we had lost that game.
Right.
And that is one of my earliest memories. And then the Tim Tebow years. So
Oh, yeah.
just watching Tim Tebow. So yeah, it's some tough times. But luckily, we have a good quarterback in Hendon Hooker here, who's now in the Heisman race. I've seen a lot of people putting him in their little Heisman ballots. So I've been seeing him get a lot of hype. So it'll be interesting to see if we can potentially, I'm not going to say he's going to get it, but it'll be interesting to see if we can at the least have a finalist in the Heisman this year.
Hey,
So,
Justin,
exciting.
justice for Hendon will be justice for Peyton because
Exactly.
we've never had we've never had a Heisman. So I don't even know what that's like. Even if Peyton Manning did win it, I wasn't alive. I wouldn't know what it's like.
And I've seen Robert Griffin III, the former Heisman winner, has said on his Twitter that Hendon Hooker should be the favorite.
He said so.
So I had seen him say that. So that's some early hype from a former Heisman winner himself.
That's credible. Right. We'll see. We're going to take a short break here. We'll be right back to talk some NFL and some hockey stuff. Stay tuned. You're listening to Rock Solid Sports on 90.3 The Rock. Rockin' ears for 40 years.
Hey, this is Blake Clark, the Cajun coach and the water boy. This is 90.3 The Rock of the Hill. Now what remember that? We live a final day.
The Rock thanks the Hill Bar and Grill for their support. The Hill on Forest Avenue is open 7 days a week at 11 a.m. until late night for dining indoors or on the expanded patio. The Hill has a variety of appetizers and a full menu of wings, burgers, tacos, and more. The Hill is our Thursday Munchie Madness sponsor and home of Friday's Rock Solid Sports. On Instagram at The Hill Knox. Menu at thehillknox.com.
They're playing basketball.
Volunteer Radio thanks the UT Athletic Department and the men's basketball program for their support. Coach Barnes' 8th season on the hardwood includes home games against Kentucky, Vandy, and more at Thompson Bowling Arena. General public ticket info for UT basketball is at allvols.com. Student ticket info and login is at bigorangetick.utk.edu. That's TIX. Volunteer Radio says Go Vols basketball.
The Rock thanks the UT Athletic Department and the Lady Vols soccer program for their support. The 2022 Lady Vols soccer team battles the University of Missouri in an SEC East matchup Thursday, October 6th at 7 p.m. at the Regal Soccer Complex off of Neyland Drive. Regal Soccer Stadium is located just off of Neyland Drive, and the public is invited to attend and cheer the Lady Vols on against Mizzou. Stay tuned to Rock Solid Sports for more UT Lady Vols soccer info. utsports.com, and a link is at wtkradio.com. The Rock says, good luck, Lady Vols soccer. Beat the Lady Tigers.
WUTK thanks Cool Beans, 1817 Lake Avenue, 1 block south of the Strip, for sponsoring and hosting the Monday night Rock Solid Sports broadcast at 7 p.m. Cool Beans is the pregame and postgame location for UT football and Knoxville's home for the NFL Sunday Ticket, Titans football on the big screen, and more. Rock Solid Sports kicks off Monday Night Football with the show's live broadcast from 7 to 8 Monday nights at Cool Beans. Cool Beans is 21 and over after 9 p.m. with a full and late night menu. CoolBeansBar.com or their Facebook page.
Hey, this is Rob.
This is Derek.
From the Funhouse. For over a decade, we've been getting your weekend started right.
So grab a beverage or whatever it is you need to grab and tune in every Friday night at 8 o'clock.
On 90.3 The Rock, Volunteer Radio.
It's the best show in the universe.
And congratulations to Derek and Rob, hosts of the Funhouse, for being voted Knoxville's finest radio celebrities in the Blank Newspaper 2021 Knoxville's Finest Readers Poll. Tune in Friday nights from 8 to 10 and find out why these guys won it without even wearing a suit and tie. The Funhouse, proudly sponsored by Raven Records and Rarities, located in Happy Holler.
90.3 The Rock thanks the UT Athletic Department for their support. Season tickets for the 2022 UT Volunteers football season are on sale now. The next phase of Neyland Stadium renovations will be ready for the new season with home games against Florida, Alabama, Kentucky, and more. Info at allvols.com. A link is at wutkradio.com. 90.3 The Rock wishes Coach Heupel and the football Vols good luck this season on the gridiron.
Hi, I'm Sharon Jones of Sharon Jones and the Dap Kings, and you're listening to 90.3 The Rock, UT's College of Rock.
Support for WUTK comes from Fieldhouse Social, the modern sports bar next to campus at University Commons. Fieldhouse Social serves American craft fare such as burgers, wings, and more with high tops around the bar, a separate dining area, and a center lounge with leather chairs and couches in front of their 23-foot LED TV wall for Tennessee and pro sports. Fieldhouse Social is an outdoor patio with trivia twice a week and sponsors Wednesday's Rock Solid Sports. FieldhouseSocial.com.
The Rock thanks the Knoxville Ice Bears Southern Professional Hockey League team for their support. Their 2022-2023 home ice season from October through April includes games with SPHL rivals Fayetteville, Huntsville, Roanoke, and more at the Civic Coliseum downtown. Single game and season tickets are at KnoxvilleIceBears.com or 865-525-PUCK. Rock Solid Sports features Ice Bears Wednesdays with news and updates. Volunteer Radio says, Go Ice Bears.
R.I.P. Julio. I had to play that. I knew we had it on our sound, so that's just that was just super shocking, super terrible, super sad, and yeah, R.I.P. Of course, I had to play Gangsta's Paradise to bring back in the show. Yeah, super sad. Anyways, let's get back into the sports here. We got some NFL right now, so why not talk about it? Of course, the Titans play the Colts on Sunday. Obviously, always a big game, no matter how much the Titans suck. It's true. Sorry, I have to accept it. I'm a Titans fan, so okay, good. Well, not good for us right now, but anyways, so that's coming up, and then of course, there's a lot of other NFL games that we got to talk about. Also, some hockey coming up in this segment, so definitely stay tuned. I guess we'll open with the Titans got their first win finally against the Raiders, barely, but it happened. And going into that game, both those teams were 0-2, so it was kind of exciting in a sad way to see which team was finally gonna be 1-2, and it was the Titans, of course. Yeah, any of you guys catch that game last week?
I did. If you would have told me that the Titans would hold Devontae Adams to 5 receptions and Darren Waller to, I don't remember how many he had, but he basically, if you would have told me that they would have contained both of them and still played in a tight game, I would have told you that you're crazy. I would not have believed you. One of the interesting things that I did like that I noticed from that game, I noticed that the different ways Derrick Henry was used. I believe he was second in receptions that game behind Robert Woods. They used him a lot in screens and a lot of dump down plays. So it'll be interesting to see if this week, if they'll continue to do the same, try to get him more in the space. So yeah, it'll be a really interesting matchup. I know the Colts are just coming off a week. All the AFC South teams surprisingly got a win against all of their AFC West matchups, which is something that nobody would have expected. So it'll be interesting to see how that matchup will work. And see if Jonathan Taylor can will have a big night with the Titans run defense looking as bad as it is.
Devin is over at the Hill Bar and Grill, our sponsor for tonight's show. Devin, any response to that?
Yeah, I mean, I just want to go back and say, and by the way, of course, the Hill is still fantastic, of course. But I just wanted to go back and say, any team, I know it's looking bleak somewhat for the Titans right now. However, if you start out 1-2, the numbers have shown throughout NFL history that you still have a 25% chance of making the playoffs. So not completely terrible. Whereas if you start out 0-3, it drops to like 2%. So as in only maybe once that's happened, I guess. So I mean, the Titans, by getting that win over the Raiders, it still gives them a chance. And the division, not looking too terribly impressive. The Jaguars have looked decent, but they're still the Jaguars. The Texans, not very good. And the Colts, they're just mediocre. So, I mean, hey, this is a critical stretch for the Titans here. They go on the road against the Colts, and they got Washington, and then they host the Colts. These 3 games, to me, will define the Titans' season, because theoretically they should be able to win all 3 of them. If they win all 3 of these games, they're 4-2. Then when they get to their tougher games, they can afford to lose 1 or 2 of those. Obviously, they play, the Chiefs later, the Packers later. It is a tough schedule for the Titans. Of course, the other AFC West teams, the Chargers, the Broncos. So, this was still so huge to get this win. Shout out to Mac Hollins. If Derek Carr had just kept throwing him the ball, the Titans would have lost. Hollins looked like Calvin Johnson out there. He was just destroying the Titans' defensive backs. The secondary, so concerning for the Titans moving forward. But, hey, I'm not giving up hope on the Titans yet. The division is weak, and this game against the Colts is huge.
I agree with you, Devin, for sure about how these next few games are really going to determine the Titans season. We've seen a few seasons, of course, where you could just throw the first few games away, but I don't know about this. Hopefully I'm proven wrong. Ethan, anything to say about the Colts game coming up? Any predictions?
One thing that will be interesting to see, I would like to see how we utilize Robert Woods. I like that Robert Woods like I said, he had the most receptions last week. So it seems like we're starting to use him more and more as he's starting to get a little bit more comfortable within our offense. I like to see, I'm pretty sure Kyle Phillips will be back this week for us. So it'll be interesting to see how much of a contribution he makes, especially in our punt return game, as we had a lot of issues and moving Robert Woods back to punt returner, as we just can't seem to handle a punt for some reason this season. But it'll be interesting to see. And then also with Traylon Burks, as it been the 4th week, to see the more and more snap counts go up and see a little bit more of how the wide receiver room works and who Tannehill chooses to be his favorite target as the year goes on, with A.J. Brown being gone. But more so, I would like to see I would just like to see us use Derrick Henry in a lot of different ways, because at times it seems like the run is just not working. And I don't really feel like it's more so him, but it's just like he just doesn't have lanes to run through. So I like to see different ways that we use Derrick Henry and how much we use Robert Woods as the year goes on, especially this week.
For sure. That Titans game is on this Sunday against the Colts. And let's talk about Tua. That man is concussed. I don't know. I was very surprised. In all seriousness, I was very surprised when I saw, what's been going on with him, how quickly he was back, able to get back in and play. What do you guys think about this whole situation? I have to hear your thoughts, because I think give him a break, but I don't know. What do you guys think about the NFL's and the team's decision with this?
Yeah, that was, the Dolphins could get in serious trouble for that, to be honest. In the last game, so he clearly, gets knocked down in the previous game, not this game against the Bengals, the previous one. And he gets up and he's stumbling around. Clearly, it looks like he's concussed in that game. The Dolphins claim, no, it's just a back injury. And it's like, okay, interesting. And he goes into this game, gets slammed down hard, and his head, whips into the ground. That was one of the scariest injuries I've ever seen, to be honest with you, Chloe. That was really, really frightening. He tensed up, he seized up, really not a good scene at all. So hopefully, everything is able to go well for him. I saw recent news that, they got him to a local hospital. He was in stable condition. He was able to, recognize everything. He was able to, he had feeling with everything. So a lot of good news to come out from the hospital there regarding him. But again, scary, scary injuries, and really sad because he's had an incredible start to this season. He's proved a lot of people wrong. People were making fun of him, all off season long for, that bad, pass he made to Tyreek Hill in practice. And this was a big season that he needed to have. And he was really playing incredible. And now I just don't think he's going to be able to come back this year. Really unfortunate.
I just don't understand. Sunday to Thursday, especially with somebody who you would expect to be your quarterback going forward, your franchise quarterback going forward. I just don't understand why Teddy Bridgewater, in my opinion, isn't. I wouldn't say he's just the greatest, but I don't feel like. I feel like he's serviceable, especially for 1 week when you have a whole more. You have 18 weeks in the season, 17 games in the season. I feel like for one of those games, especially with your quarterback who you expect to have for years to come, when you have a game from Sunday to Thursday, I just don't feel like he should be out there. I feel like you should. That's a situation where you should just rest him, let him heal up, because the situation with the Bengals was already not the week before that was already scary enough in itself. So when you come off a situation like that, I feel like they could have just rested him for a week. Let Teddy come in, do his job, and then evaluate things from there. But I just feel like things were just rushed a little too soon, especially when it was already scary the week prior.
For sure. I agree with that, definitely. While we're at it, Dylan is going to rejoin us here in a second for some hockey, but what are some games this weekend? You can pick Titans Colts if you want. What are some games that you're looking forward that you would like to talk about on here, NFL wise? Devin?
Yeah, I mean, sorry, Chloe. Yeah, sorry, my mic was down for a second there. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of really fascinating NFL games this weekend. One that's honestly, pretty interesting, of course, is the Sunday night primetime game, Chiefs and Buccaneers. Of course.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah, I mean, I should have picked a different one because that's going to be a pretty popular one. I mean, how could you not pick that one though? Really, it's Tom Brady, it's Patrick Mahomes. Lots of drama with Brady and the Buccaneers this season. The offense has been spotty, but the defense has been one of the best in the entire league. It's almost looking like the 2002 Buccaneers defense, playing extremely, extremely well. We know how Todd Bowles, knows how to coach a great defense. That is very clear. So it'll be very fascinating. Just that defense against Mahomes and the Chiefs offense, just that alone makes this game so fascinating. The Chiefs, they went to Indianapolis and they lost, surprisingly, which is what can concern Titans fans heading to Indianapolis this weekend. But, yeah, the Chiefs lost their first game against the Colts, made a lot of mistakes. The Buccaneers, again, the offense has looked really, really rough. So this is just such a huge primetime game for both teams to show how legit either one could be. And it's just going to be yet another edition, probably the last matchup between Brady and Mahomes. So
that's true. I didn't think about that.
Another interesting matchup that I will be looking forward to this week is actually the Bills and the Ravens. The Bills coming off a loss this week. It'll be interesting to see how Josh Allen bounced back in the Bills game plan for a seemingly unstoppable Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson currently, as it stands, is having a very incredible season, but we all know that the Bills are known to have a very good defense. So I'll be interested to see how Lamar Jackson and his Ravens will look against that Bills defense. So I would like to see that matchup this weekend.
And while we got Dylan back, any NFL matchups that you're looking forward to this weekend?
Yeah, I obviously I'm looking. Of course, that goes back. I guess I'm looking forward to the Ravens.
Yep. Gonna take with Keith in there. Yeah. There's a lot of exciting games here on this list right now. For this weekend. Yeah, of course I would have to say Chiefs and Buccaneers. That's going to be an exciting one. But Dylan, what is some hockey news that you can provide us with? Dylan? Did he go away again? Oh, he's not there. Okay, I think he's having just some connection issues, but
I have another NFL matchup that I'm
what's
actually interested in. Another one I'm actually interested in is the Bears and Giants. Both teams who nobody expected to have a good season, who are basically like laughing stocks last year, people just made fun of, are both currently sitting at 2-1. So one of these teams will have a chance to be 3-1 on the season, which would be one of the few teams which no one would have expected to happen from either of these teams. So with the way that the Bears offense is going right now and how with them barely passing and being able to pass up the field, it'd be interesting to see if they'll be able to get a win this week. And I'll also be interested to see Saquon this week as he's been having a very good season this season. So it'll be an interesting matchup. It may not be anything too crazy, but the fact that no one expected either of these teams to be sitting in this position makes this matchup very interesting to me.
Very true. Dylan, we got you back. Dylan, I guess not. All right. It's okay, he says. All right. We'll be right back. Well, first, Devin, any more games you wanted to preview or any response to the ones that Keithan was talking about?
I guess I'll throw on, Bills and Ravens. That is going to be a really, really fascinating matchup. Of course, incredible quarterback matchup. We all know this with, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson. The Ravens are one of those teams where, for me, I particularly, I'm not ever super high on the Ravens and Lamar Jackson. I always think that they're pretty decent, but I just never can quite see them, being that team that can go all the way to the Super Bowl. I don't know what it is. I'm just not super confident in them. But, with a win over the Bills and an impressive win, that could certainly change my mind. I mean, the Ravens, no doubt, are still going to be a contender in the AFC. I still expect them to make the playoffs, that's for sure. But it's going to be such a key battle for both teams with all the expectations they both had heading into the season, with a couple of, bad games that they've each already had. So, it's going to be a really, really, really good game.
For sure. Like I said, a lot of exciting games to look forward to this weekend. We're going to take a short break, and we are going to be right back to close out the show, talking some Lady Vols, because there's a few Lady Vols basketball news, also some hockey. Get ready to rejoin with us in just a few minutes after these words from some of the people who help keep us on the air on Volunteer Radio, 90.3 The Rock, UT's College of Rock.
Hey people, this is Hayes Carl, and your radio is tuned to 90.3 The Rock, UT's College of Rock.
The Rock thanks the Hill Bar and Grill for their support. The Hill on Forest Avenue is open 7 days a week at 11 a.m. until late night for dining indoors or on the expanded patio. The Hill has a variety of appetizers and a full menu of wings, burgers, tacos, and more. The Hill is our Thursday Munchie Madness sponsor and home of Friday's Rock Solid Sports. On Instagram at The Hill Knox. Menu at thehillknox.com.
They're playing basketball.
Volunteer Radio thanks the UT Athletic Department and the men's basketball program for their support. Coach Barnes' 8th season on the hardwood includes home games against Kentucky, Vandy, and more at Thompson Bowling Arena. General public ticket info for UT basketball is at allvols.com. Student ticket info and login is at bigorangetick.utk.edu. That's TIX. Volunteer Radio says Go Vols basketball.
WUTK thanks Cool Beans, 1817 Lake Avenue, 1 block south of the Strip, for sponsoring and hosting the Monday night Rock Solid Sports broadcast at 7 p.m. Cool Beans is the pregame and postgame location for UT football and Knoxville's home for the NFL Sunday Ticket, Titans football on the big screen, and more. Rock Solid Sports kicks off Monday Night Football with the show's live broadcast from 7 to 8 Monday nights at Cool Beans. Cool Beans is 21 and over after 9 p.m. with a full and late night menu. CoolBeansBar.com or their Facebook page.
90.3 The Rock thanks the UT Athletic Department for their support. Season tickets for the 2022 UT Volunteers football season are on sale now. The next phase of Neyland Stadium renovations will be ready for the new season with home games against Florida, Alabama, Kentucky, and more. Info at allvols.com. A link is at WUTKradio.com. 90.3 The Rock wishes Coach Heupel and the football Vols good luck this season on the gridiron.
Hello, this is Peter Hayes from the Black Rebel Motorcycle Club, and you're listening to 90.3 The Rock, streaming 24/7 at WUTKradio.com.
Support for WUTK comes from Fieldhouse Social, the modern sports bar next to campus at University Commons. Fieldhouse Social serves American craft fare such as burgers, wings, and more with high tops around the bar, a separate dining area, and a center lounge with leather chairs and couches in front of their 23-foot LED TV wall for Tennessee and pro sports. Fieldhouse Social is an outdoor patio with trivia twice a week and sponsors Wednesday's Rock Solid Sports. FieldhouseSocial.com.
If you're a sports fan, especially a big Orange fan, then tune into Rock Solid Sports, Volunteer Radio Sports Show Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays at 7 p.m. UT Sports, pro sports, college athletics, area high school sports, and more are featured on the award-winning Rock Solid Sports, including commentary, interviews, and more. Rock Solid Sports thanks Cool Beans on Lake Avenue, the home of our Monday night broadcast. Thanks to Fieldhouse Social at University Commons for being the home of our Wednesday show. And thanks to The Hill and Fort Sanders for hosting our Friday broadcast. More on all Rock Solid Sports social platforms and at rocksolidsports.org. Rock Solid Sports, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 7 p.m. on Volunteer Radio, the only sports show in town with a home field advantage for UT Athletics.
The Rock thanks the Knoxville Ice Bears Southern Professional Hockey League team for their support. Their 2022-2023 home ice season from October through April includes games with SPHL rivals Fayetteville, Huntsville, Roanoke, and more at the Civic Coliseum downtown. Single game and season tickets are at KnoxvilleIceBears.com or 865-525-PUCK. Rock Solid Sports features Ice Bears Wednesdays with news and updates. Volunteer Radio says, Go Ice Bears!
Hi, this is Derek and Rob from the Funhouse. It was brought to our attention that our show and the things that we do could be seen as childish and not funny, sophomoric, vapid, stupid, and a complete and utter waste of time.
We strive to bring you the most entertaining radio that we're capable of each and every week.
So won't you please continue to support us and the station? Tune in every Friday night from 8 to 10 p.m. only on 90.3 The Rock. The Funhouse. Syphilis free since 2013.
Stop by the Funhouse Friday nights from 8 till 10 only on 90.3 The Rock.
Congratulations to Rob and Derek, hosts of the Funhouse, for being voted Knoxville's finest radio personalities in the 2021 Blank Newspaper's Knoxville's Finest Readers Poll. Tune in Friday nights from 8 to 10 and find out why. The Funhouse, brought to you by Raven Records and Rarities, located in Happy Holler.
Welcome back to Rock Solid Sports on Friday night. This is your host here with you, Chloe, along with Keithan and Devin, who is over at our sponsor for tonight, the Hill Bar and Grill. Devin, how's it looking over at the Hill?
Yeah, hey, Chloe. Yeah, it's looking pretty lively here. Of course, they got all these different TVs, SEC Network previewing all the big SEC college football matchups. Of course, we know Tennessee's off, but hey, there's tons of incredible matchups this weekend, especially in the SEC. And then, of course, on the other channel, you got Tulane and Houston playing. Tulane's up 7-0. It's been a defensive battle, surprisingly, in H-Town. So in the second quarter, it's only 7-0 Tulane.
Wow. Interesting. There you have it there. Yeah, that's the Hill Bar and Grill. Thank you for sponsoring tonight's show. So I want to talk here at the end of the show a little bit about some Tuesday was actually the Lady Vols' first open availability to the media, and I was actually there. I got to talk to Coach Kelly Harper a little bit, and I got to sit in and watch some of their practices. So this Lady Vols team is actually, I don't know if anyone saw, but Lady Vols basketball team was ranked number 4 in ESPN's early, like way too early top 25 that they do. So, we talked to Kelly Harper a little bit, saying like, that's a lot to live up to. How does that make you feel, being ranked top 25 or being ranked number 4 so early, behind teams like UConn and things like that. And she said, it's definitely something that we like talk about as a team, but we talk about it because we don't want to, that shouldn't be the most important thing to us. We don't want to have to live up to what the outside says. We just got to come in and do our best every day. And it starts here at practice, because Tuesday, the practice that I got to sit and watch was also the Lady Vols' first practice. So that was just super exciting to be there and see that. And also, Lady Vols roster looking super stacked right now. 6 newcomers. That's a lot. That's a lot. As Kelly Harper was saying to us, she said, I think someone asked, what's the biggest difference between, this preseason or this summer preparing for the upcoming season versus other seasons that you prepared for. And Kelly Harper said, it's that the fact that we had 6 new people come in, not all freshmen, some were transfers from Missouri State and things like that. But definitely all of these, I personally think that all of these, newcomers are going to be totally worth it and do nothing but help out the team, along with some freshmen who came in last year who are now sophomores, of course, who are looking pretty good. Sarah Puckett and let's see, of course, Brooklyn Miles is always one there too as well. Kaya Wynn looking pretty well at practice too. And then, of course, we have to talk about Jordan Horston, who is back and recovered from her, was it hand or arm injury back in last year, middle of the season against that game against Alabama. And Kelly Harper said right there, she said she's looking the best, that she's in her best shape of her life. We're really excited about how she's looking, and she looks great on the court. So I'm really excited for her and really excited for this upcoming Lady Vol season. I think it'll be a good one, but I want to know, as for you guys, how do you feel that way too early ranking of Lady Vols at number 4 is? Do you guys feel that that's accurate, or, again, it's way too early. That's the point. But besides that, any other comments about the Lady Vols team? Devin, you can start.
Yeah, that is really, really exciting. I did not realize that the Lady Vols were going to end up being ranked that high. But, if you think about it, it does make a lot of sense. Jordan Horston's injury last year was devastating to the Lady Vols, and yet they still made it to the Sweet 16. You just think that if Horston, never got injured at the pace she was going at, the Lady Vols had Burrell and Horston and Key all playing so well that they could have possibly made it to the Final Four. I don't think that's too crazy of a stretch there. So to automatically put them as one of the early preseason favorites to one of the 4 preseason favorites to go to the Final Four already makes perfect sense with the veteran leadership that's coming back. I was really curious. You said, Puckett looked very good. Miles looked very good. I was wondering, what other veterans you thought looked really great, Chloe, because I think they're really going to lean on their, senior leadership this season, and that probably explains why their ranking is so high.
Yeah, obviously Jordan Horston would be my number 1 for now. I think she's a top player in that entire women's college basketball league for sure. Like Kelly Harper said, she can play so many different positions. It's just crazy. Also, of course, there's the other Jordan Walker. She's definitely a leader for sure. I saw that on the court as well. She's looking really good too. She's one of the shorter players on the team, but she's able to do just about as much as most other people. Tamari Key's another big one. You can't forget Tamari Key. She's big, literally. She's 6'5" or something. So Tamari Key's another one. As of leadership, I see Jordan Walker definitely being a leader. Tamari Key as well. Let me just say this. I feel a lot better about those veterans like Jordan Walker, Tamari Key, Jordan Horston being there. And then, of course, you had the players who were all freshmen last year come in, now being sophomores. I didn't mention Caroline Striplin. She's another one. Almost 100% of her free throws go in. It's just the little things like that, that make her look pretty excellent. So
yeah, it's great. I think another part of it is that Tennessee is able to do a little bit of everything. They got great scoring outside, great scoring inside, rebounding. They assist well, defense. Yep, the free throws you just mentioned. I think that's why there's so much confidence. And, of course, Kelly Harper's a fantastic coach, of course. That, of course, factors into it, that she's proven herself now. But the fact that this team can win in a variety of different ways, there might be games that they're stuck in defensive battles and they just way out rebound the other team and then slowly chip away and win the game, by getting 2-pointers. That can happen sometimes. And then But then there might be other games where the team's leaving, giving them lots of, openings on the outside, maybe in the corners, and Puckett's draining tons of threes. They can win in so many different ways.
I feel like as long as you have, like we said, we have people like Jordan Horston and coming back seniors on the team. We have a lot of, I stuttered, a lot of leaders on the team returning. So I feel like as long as you have leaders that have been there before, along with a good coach like Kelly Harper, I feel like the sky is the limit for the team. I don't usually buy too much into way too early rankings, just simply because it is way too early.
Mm-hmm.
But the hype around the Vols, I definitely do see it. And I understand why.
For sure. I'll be super excited to see where the Lady Vols go this season, as well as the Vols, but that's obviously, you need so much more time to talk about them. We'll do that soon, though, whenever we get some interviews in with them. Of course, their team's media day will be coming up as well, like the full media day, when we get to talk to all the players, kind of get to know them, which I always enjoy, especially for the new players. I think I last year went around and had them all introduce themselves. So on our Rock Solid Sports Instagram story. So that, that was pretty fun. And of course, hoping to get some guests on the show soon, maybe some Lady Vols, maybe one of my favorites is Lady Vols beat writer Maria Cornelia. She wrote a book about Pat Summitt. She's an excellent writer and, so well versed in all the Lady Vol knowledge and all of basically everything Lady Vol, everything's women's basketball. So definitely stay tuned to Rock Solid Sports. We got some great things coming up in the works, of course. And it's going to be a lot of fun. Unfortunately, Dylan was not able to make it on for hockey. I think he was having some technical difficulties over on his side of things. So he's on Wednesdays. He'll have to give us some updates, hockey updates on Wednesdays as well. We're hoping to have some coaches and players from the Knoxville Ice Bears on these following Wednesdays as well. So that should be a great time. We've already talked to, brand new coach for the Ice Bears here on the phones and some players, which is interesting because I've never gotten the chance to talk to any Ice Bears players. But if you're into hockey, definitely tune in Wednesday nights. That is going to be the show for you. And we are almost out of here in just a few minutes on Rock Solid Sports. So I just want to thank the Hill Bar and Grill for being tonight's sponsor. Devin, it's still looking good out there?
Oh, yeah. It's still looking fantastic out here. Fantastic environment, of course. And, and these games on these TVs getting really interesting. I forgot to mention, Middle Tennessee State's on one of the TVs as well after they upset Miami on the road, now playing against UTSA. So trying to find a way to win that one also is on here. So, hey, might as well come and check it out.
That was insane. We forgot to talk about that. I'm sure they did on Monday or something. But when I had seen that, when I was at the Florida game, I was like, man, that is wild.
And for them to be up as much as they were,
I know.
24-3.
It wasn't a fluke. Like it wasn't a, I don't know. So
yes,
super crazy. Thanks for tuning in to Rock Solid Sports on 90.3 The Rock tonight. And a round of applause for Keithlin, our brand new member. It's super excited to have him on our show coming up here in the future. And thanks for the Hill Barn Grill for sponsoring tonight's show, Back of the Fort, Forest Avenue. And thanks for definitely going down there. And Dylan for also joining our show tonight. We'll be back on Monday. Stay tuned to 90.3 The Rock for the Fun House.